I started streaming full-time after losing my job. It was supposed to be temporary, just until I got back on my feet. I played horror games mostly, late at night, because the audience seemed to love watching me get scared. Cheap thrills, easy donations. After 2 months, I moved into a smaller apartment to save money. It was one of those older buildings downtown, peeling wallpaper, creaky floors, windows that moaned when the wind blew. The rent was suspiciously cheap. I didn't ask why. That's when the shadow first showed up. Not in real life, on stream. My chat pointed it out. "Bro, did someone just walk behind you?" "Yo, I saw that too. WTF?" "Clip that, clip that." I reviewed the footage. Sure enough, something passed across the hallway behind me. I paused the stream, got up, checked every room, nothing. The front door was still locked, and I lived alone. I chalked it up to a glitch, or maybe some weird compression artifact. The hallway was dimly lit after all. But it kept happening. The shadow appeared more often, always in the same place, just out of focus. Too quick to make out, but unmistakably human-shaped. It never moved toward the camera, just passed from one side of the hallway to the other. I bought a motion-activated camera and set it up to monitor behind me, separate from the streaming gear. It recorded in infrared. The next night, during a late stream, the shadow appeared again. Chat exploded. When I checked the infrared footage after, my stomach turned. The camera had recorded nothing, no movement, no heat signatures. The hallway was empty the entire time. But on the stream, the shadow had walked across like clockwork. I started hearing things, not during the day, only when I was live. Whispering, faint breathing through my headphones, even when I wasn't in voice chat. Chat blamed audio bleed. Some said it was a great horror bit. But I wasn't acting. Then came the door. There's a utility closet at the end of the hall I'd never used. It had always been locked when I moved in. I assumed it belonged to the landlord. But one night, on stream, the camera glitched, and the door was open. Just a black rectangle behind me. I turned in real time, confused. The door was still closed. But when I looked back at the stream window, open. Shadowy movement inside. I stopped the stream immediately. Turned every light on in the apartment. Checked the closet. Still locked. Next day, I went to the landlord. "Oh, that place," he said, tapping the floor plan. "That closet's not part of your unit. It's sealed from the inside. No one's got the key. Used to be connected to the old unit next door, before the renovations." "What happened to the old unit?" He hesitated. "Guy lived there, a few years back. Real private. Had cameras all over the place. Started talking about a presence in his hallway. Said it only showed up on stream." My blood ran cold. "And?" I asked. "He went missing. Disappeared during a live stream. Cops found his gear still running. Stream was up for hours. Just an empty room. Then, get this, someone stepped into frame." "Who?" "No one knows. No record of anyone going in or out. But when they checked the footage, that person, they looked exactly like him. Same face, same clothes. That was 3 nights ago. I haven't streamed since. But last night, I heard breathing again, outside the stream. And this morning, my camera turned on by itself. I wasn't even in the room." "I work security at a hotel that no longer accepts guests. It used to be upscale, ballrooms, rooftop bars, the whole deal. but they shut down during the pandemic, and the owners never reopened. They just kept a skeleton crew on payroll to stop squatters and looters. That's where I come in. 12-hour night shifts, empty halls, echoes. There's no Wi-Fi, no guests, and the power's spotty. Half the time I patrol using a flashlight. The cameras still work, though. Old analog ones, grainy, black and white. About a month ago, I noticed something weird. One of the corridor feeds would occasionally go static, just for a few seconds, around 3:13 a.m. Same exact time every night. Always the same hallway, the one on the 7th floor, next to the old conference wing. No power outages, no equipment issues, just static. So I checked it out. The first few nights, nothing happened. The hallway was cold and dead silent. But one night, just as the static hit again, I saw it. A man standing at the very end of the hallway. Not moving, just standing. I froze. I called out. No response. I walked toward him, but as soon as I took a few steps, he was gone. No doors nearby, no sound of footsteps, just gone. I went back to the security room, replayed the camera. The feed had glitched again. No footage. The next night, same time, he was there again. Same spot, same stillness. I started calling him the corridor man. He never approached, never moved. Just stood at the far end of the hall, completely motionless, like a wax figure watching from afar. But the more I saw him, the more real he became. Details began to form. His face, his uniform. The worst part, he looked like me. Same posture, same hat, same flashlight in his hand. One night I followed him. I waited until 3:12, made my way to the 7th floor, watched from around the corner, and, like clockwork, static on the radio. I peeked out. He was there. So I walked forward. 30 feet, 20, 10. The closer I got, the darker the hallway became, like the light itself was being drained away. And then, he moved. Not away from me, toward me. But his legs didn't move. He just glided, as if the floor beneath him pulled him forward. I turned to run, but the hallway behind me had changed. It was longer, impossible. I'd walked it 100 times, but now it stretched endlessly. I ran until I passed out. I woke up hours later in the lobby. My shift partner found me on the floor, flashlight still in hand. I tried to quit the next day. They begged me to stay. Said the cameras don't work without someone in the control room. Said the building gets worse when it's empty too long. I still work here. But now, I avoid the 7th floor. Because lately, the corridor man, he's been getting closer. Last night he raised his hand, and it was waving at me. After my parents died, I inherited the house. It was the place I grew up, a creaky 2-story farmhouse tucked at the edge of the woods. I hadn't visited in over a decade. Too many memories, too much silence. But I needed time to grieve, to settle the estate. So I moved in for a while. And that's when I noticed the door. In the upstairs hallway, across from my childhood bedroom. It was a plain white door, just like the others, but I didn't remember it. And I remember everything about that house. I asked my aunt about it. She raised an eyebrow. That room? It was always locked. Your parents kept it that way. What was in there? They never said. You never asked. I hadn't, because in my memories, that door didn't exist. I found the key in my father's desk drawer. It looked ancient, heavy, cold to the touch. I opened the door, Inside was a child's bedroom, dusty, undisturbed. Toys still scattered on the rug, a tiny twin bed with faded sheets, bookshelves full of worn picture books, and the walls covered in scribbles, crayons, messages, drawings of eyes, hundreds of them. One sentence repeated again and again. "Don't forget me!" I stumbled back, slammed the door shut. My heart was pounding. That night, I dreamed of the room. I was small again, standing in the doorway, hearing laughter, my laughter, and another higher-pitched giggle. A child's voice whispered, "You promised you wouldn't forget." I searched the attic the next morning. I found a box of photographs, family albums, letters. In the middle of one album was a photo of two boys, me and someone else, a second child, slightly younger, same dark eyes, same smile, but I had no memory of him. On the back, written in my mother's handwriting, Daniel and Elijah. Elijah, I had a brother. I confronted my aunt again. She froze. "Your parents, they didn't want to talk about him. He had episodes, strange ones. Said he saw things in the house that weren't there. What happened to him?" She didn't answer, just cried. I went back to the room. This time, the walls had new writing. You remembered. A toy on the shelf was rocking slowly, back and forth. I took a step inside. The door slammed shut behind me. And I heard a voice, so close I could feel the breath on my neck. "Now you can stay."